Hey, good morning. 194 on the Playhouse in the morning. 0, Amy K. Got E. Phone scam on the way. Dump them or date them as well. But curious, what you make about this? Imagine this. You've gone out with somebody after messaging them on, like, Tinder or something. You guys had a great time, and then you go out the second time. They're like, hey, by the way, thanks for coming out to Applebee's with me. You know how you think my name is Mike? Yeah, I love you, Mike. Well, my name's actually Chuck. And you find out they were using a bogus name, probably more common, I suppose, with women. But a story out today says people are using fake names on dating apps and, like, pretending that this is their name through, like, the first date, sometimes even two, until they've actually gone out with somebody a couple times, established they're not a freak, and then admitting what their actual first name is. I'm curious, is there anybody in the Playhouse family that would admit to doing this? But also, do we think that makes sense, or is that kind of a strange thing to do? Amy K.
I would say kind of strange. If it's not something similar to your name or like a nickname, if you're using two completely different names, it's like a red flag to me. I was friends with someone who I found out his real name years later, and I'm like, that doesn't even make sense. But then once he told me his real name, he's not from here, and so it was just easier for people to pronounce than his real name. And I was like, this kind of makes sense now. But I was also shocked that in like the 5 years I knew you, why wasn't that brought up ever?
Why did it take that long?
Yeah, like it just surprised me. He's like, but that's what everyone calls me. So being then on a date where you're like that was just my friend. So a date, that's different. I think it's more serious. Like, you got to share that.
Because this is an intentional, I think they're probably doing it as like a safety thing,
That's
right?
what I
Like,
thought,
Still.
you're messaging somebody on Tinder and they say their name is Maggie, and then you actually go out and you find out that their name is Aaron, and it's like, well, I just use that. That's my dating name. That's what's happening there.
You can't stalk them on Facebook or whatever.
Sure.
To find out everything about them.
If you're that paranoid about being online and dating, maybe online dating isn't for you.
Fair.
So you would never do this. You would never have a bogus persona.
That's not fair because of my job.
Let's say you were...
Because I think...
You're Amy the electrician now. You're
Okay.
Amy the electrician now.
That makes sense. I thought you were trying to, I gotcha,
No.
Amy K.
While I do like to have a lot of gotcha moments at your expense, not what I'm doing here. So you're Amy, you're an electrician, or you work in customer service. You work at the bank. You want to be a bank teller?
Yeah.
You're Amy the bank teller. You can't see being on Tinder as Tanya?
No, I would be Amy.
So you wouldn't do it, okay?
I wouldn't. No.
I'd be kind of weirded out. Like, I understand the safety thing. I'd be confused if somebody was like, by the way, you don't actually even know my name. I'm like, are you
weird.
insane?
My first thought came, I was like, these are Elon's kids, or like one of Nick Cannon's 14 kids.
He's got a lot of them.
That have weird names,
Yes.
so you didn't want to like have to go through that whole discussion about your weird name. So you just avoid it by putting Dave.
Makes more sense.
Yeah.
It's David's dog. It's who I am.
Yeah.
You like the idea of the bogus name? You use one. Hello.
I haven't used a fake name on a first date, but I've definitely given out a fake phone number after, like, I went on a blind date and I gave a fake phone number because I wasn't sure that I was going to hit it off with this guy on the blind date. So I had his phone number, so I didn't want him to have my phone number. So it turns out if we really liked each other, I would contact him. And, if he said, like, oh, I tried to call you, I'd be like, oh, that's not actually my number. And I was like, oh, yeah, the 6 is actually a 9. Sorry.
That makes sense, I suppose. It seems like it'd be hard to be interacting and stuff. I see what you're doing, though. I see what you're doing using the bogus number. Okay.
Phone number, I think maybe is one thing. But if you're going to just be conversing with someone on an app, why not use your first name? Change your last name.
Sure, yeah, and then be like, hey, that's actually my mom's maiden name. Ha ha.
Yeah. Or go by
Gotcha.
first and middle.
Are people, as far as text go, being like, yeah, I use a bogus name or no?
Yeah, someone said when I first started dating my now husband, he told me a different name. He goes by his middle name and not his first name since his dad had the same first name. Someone else said, I've been found on Facebook and different socials before just by using my first name. So now I use a nickname on dating apps instead just to feel a little bit safer. Someone else said using a real name or even just a nickname would be a good idea, but otherwise it could seem sketchy to try to hide something or avoid baggage, exes, drama, crime. Just you need to have something that's real, not a completely different name.
You one of these people doing this or nah?
I mean, if I were doing, online dating, I would never give my real name. I would give like my porn name, like my,
Oh.
childhood, Rabbit K name or something like that. But if it's someone that I met through a friend or through work, I would give him my name in a heartbeat. I mean, it depends what the situation is.
Just for clarification, how are you getting that adult film star name?
It's your pet name. So for me, my pet's name was Rabbit, if you can believe it. And then you take your last name, Davis, so Rabbit Davis, and that's your porn name.
I don't know if I would believe I met a woman named Rabbit Davis. Would you? No.
That's not a real
Rabbit
person.
is a hard name to use.
Rabbit's tough. What, we be dog?
Yeah, was your dog named Rabbit? Or no,
Yeah, or was there a rabbit named Rabbit? Like mine would be, my dog growing up, his name was Coco. So I'd be
Well,
Coco
Coco's
K.
pretty good.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
good. That's okay. This is working way better for you.
Yeah.
Mine just ended up like a lost Norwegian somewhere.
Yeah.
It's just gross. Like I think it was Nala Hookstra. Ugh.
Yeah.
Ugh. You don't even meet that guy. Yeah, it's
Listen,
gross.
I'm pretty sure the first animal in our house was called Squeaker, so I'm not gonna...